The trailer for HBO's Lanterns has gotten a mixed reaction. You have half of the fans who, like me, are excited to see the property handled in a true detective style, as well as the chemistry between Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan and Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart looks to be the highlight of the series. But then you have the other half of the fandom saying, Green Lantern is a space cop. Why is this show entirely on Earth? Where's all the green? The Green Lantern movie was bad, but at least it had space and the suit was green. So I thought I'd ask the question, was Green Lantern really that bad? Hi, howdy, and hello guys, and welcome to a new series I like to call Was It Really That Bad? A series where I take a look at movies that are widely considered bad and try to give them a fair shot. Maybe they were looked at a little bit too harshly, not harshly enough, or appropriately harshly. Now, I have a little bit of history with this movie. I was 12 years old when this came out. I was the only person in the theater, which in retrospect is probably a pretty bad sign. But for 12-year-old me, I felt like I had my own private screening. And coming out of it, I really liked the movie. I really enjoyed Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern, and I thought the effects really captured my imagination. And as a kid, whenever Green Lantern would show up in any of the cartoons, whether it be Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner, or even Guy Gardner, I thought Green Lantern was top dog. I got all the toys that came out along with the movie. I got really into the show that was on at the time. I even got a little bit into the comics. So maybe my enjoyment for the movie was a little bit blinded by my love for the character. So let's take a look and see if Ryan Reynolds is right to consistently hit on this movie, or if he's just beating a dead horse. It's probably both. But this is Green Lantern. The movie starts off with a little history lesson of the origin of the Green Lanterns, and honestly, I don't think this is that bad. The visuals here are kind of cool, and I like the narration, but the coolness of this introduction is immediately gotten rid of by this little blue dude sucking the soul out of these aliens. The blue dude flies off into space and turns into a fart cloud. I'm sorry. This is fucking silly, and attacks the Green Lantern Abin Sur, which takes us to Earth where we meet our main character, Hal Jordan. And what better way for us to be introduced to our character than by him almost committing vehicular manslaughter. Hal's a test pilot, and he loves to show off his skills. And what better way for him to show off his skills than by blowing up a $1 billion piece of equipment? Hal begins to lose control of the plane when he starts thinking about the day his dad died. And is it me, or does the guy who plays Hal's dad look a lot like Kyle Chandler? I have nothing else to point out in regards to this. I just think it's a funny coincidence. Hal gets fired from his job.
I'm going to have to lay off most of my company anyway. You're fired.
But he also doesn't.
Not fired.
And remember that alien from about 5 minutes ago? Yeah, me neither, but he's on Earth now, and he sends out a construct to find a new recruit. But before that, Hal goes to his nephew's birthday. For literally 2 minutes. I'm not kidding, by the way. I timed it. The sun barely goes down from the time he gets there to the time he leaves. At most, he spent maybe 10 minutes there. It might as well have played out like, hey kid.
Uncle Hal!
Heard you were worried about me.
Yeah, I was really scared.
Cut that shit out. Happy birthday.
Who the fuck gives a kid a candle?
Hal gets picked up by the construct that's brought to Abin Sur, and Abin Sur is all like, here's a ring. You're a superhero now. Cool? Cool. Well, I should probably die now.
Hey, come on, man. No, don't do that. Hey, don't.
We now get to a scene on Oa, and these are widely considered to be the best parts of the movie, and I tend to agree with that sentiment. And overall, I think this introduction scene to Oa is actually a pretty good one. But one thing I really hate is the designs of the Guardians. Typically, the Guardians just kind of look like little blue dudes with, well, my hairline. But the Guardians here, they just kind of look like, I don't know, they just kind of look like
a retarded fish.
Yeah! I mean, I'm not going to use those exact words, but yeah. Back on Earth, Hal is leaving a bar after a few drinks with Carol when he gets jumped. He gets knocked down, and as the guys who jumped him are about to walk away, he's like, "Is that the best you can do?" And then does this. And I'm not gonna lie, I think that was kind of cool. I have no joke here, I just think that was kind of cool. Doing so causes Hal to be sent to Oa. There, he's given the full introduction to the Green Lanterns, which brings us to the biggest controversy of the film, the costume. Now, I'm not a defender of this costume. Now, design-wise, I don't think that this is actually the worst costume. Like, on a still image, I think this costume's actually kind of cool, but in motion, it is a little off-putting. And personally, yeah, if I was making this movie, I would have gone with a practical suit. But I understand where they were coming from. The costume comes from the ring, so it essentially is a construct in and of itself. So it makes sense that they would use the same effects for the costume that they do the constructs. But it just looks off. When Hal's just standing around in the costume, it actually does look pretty rad. But when he's flying, there is major floating head syndrome right there. Anyway, Hal gets the full introduction to the Green Lantern planet, and I'm sorry guys, this shit's so fucking cool.
Your sector is 1,000 times larger, and 3,600 lanterns, each with a sector just as vast.
The planet of Oa, I think, is absolutely beautiful, and when Hal is brought to this Green Lanterns meeting, look at this, dude! Look at all these weird fucking aliens! Look at all their cool, intricate, weird designs! I feel like I'm watching a live-action Ben 10. Thankfully, not that live-action Ben 10. Even Sinestro looks fucking cool, dude. In the comics, Sinestro looks like a guy who starts every sentence with the word "yeah." But what do they do to fix it? They get Mark fucking Strong to play Sinestro, who, no matter what he's in, he always brings some sort of commanding and almost regal-like presence.
We have never been defeated. Will we be defeated now? It was for this moment that we were created. But I don't need to tell you your duty. I don't need to tell you who we are.
I mean, I would go into battle with that dude. I don't have any combat skills, but he believes in me. We then get a training scene with Kilowog, who is also pretty fucking cool.
Never let your guard down, Hooser. Not just the gravitational pull of your average sun. Big as you are, wicked you burn.
Am I crazy? Is this shit not cool, dude? This shit's so fucking cool. Sinestro then interrupts the training scene and essentially shows him who's boss.
Fear is the enemy of will. Will is what makes you take action. Fear is what stops you and makes you weak.
Again, this shit's really cool. I'm almost an hour into this movie. Do I have issues with it? Yeah. The villain's presence really isn't felt yet. The pacing almost seems a little too quick, and there are some pretty questionable character decisions. But honestly, I'm having a good time so far. Truthfully, I see this with both feet planted firmly on the ground. This is about on the same level as the first Ant-Man movie. However, there is still an hour left in the movie. Shit could go south real fucking quick. Let's find out. Hal feels an overwhelming amount of pressure of being a Green Lantern and then just kind of half quits.
The ring never makes a mistake.
This time it did.
After that, we go back to Earth where our villain is teaching a class. Oh yeah, this is our villain, by the way. Hector Hammond. He dissected Ivan Sir and got infected with a little bit of parallax. It's a whole thing. He starts hearing his students' thoughts, one of which insults him, so naturally, he flings him across the room. After that, he's like, oh shit, something's wrong with me. I gotta do some tests on myself. And this is something I actually appreciate. A lot of times in movies, when people start noticing that they have abilities, they always go, huh, that's weird. And then they turn into Jeff Goldblum. Haunting stuff. So he goes over to his dad's office, and him and his dad seem to have an okay relationship, but then he reads his dad's mind and hears that he thinks he's a disappointment.
He'll never get it. Just wasting his life away. What an embarrassment.
So naturally he plans on killing him. Girl same. Back in space, Sinestro and the other Green Lanterns find where Parallax is, but he quickly realizes that him and the other Lanterns are outmatched. Sinestro returns to the Guardians, and he's rightfully pissed because he knows they're not telling him something.
Never before has an enemy dared attack us here. You must tell me what you know.
Like, imagine if you work somewhere for years and your boss just now told you the Wi-Fi password. Like, how many times have I complained about my reception here and you did nothing to help me out with that? That's rude, Deborah. Anyway, the Guardians tell Sinestro about how the one Guardian tried to harness the power of fear, but they didn't really vibe with that.
Source of power. One we had long since sworn should never be used. Fear. But the power of fear was too unpredictable. The chance of corruption too great.
Back on Earth, Hal is at a party for the jet company he works for, and at the event, Carol, the love interest of the movie, gets recognition from Hector's dad that he feels like he deserved. So Hector uses his new abilities to make his dad's helicopter crash. Hal saves the helicopter by turning it into a Hot Wheels track. Now, whenever I talk to my brother about this movie, he always cites this scene as why he hates it so much. Now, is it silly? Yes. Could Hal have just made a giant hand and caught the helicopter? Also, yes. But where's the fun in that? I mean, Hot Wheels' slogan is Hot Wheels! Beat that! And that's because you can't. Hector goes back home and has a fit, which turns him into a guy that really wants to be friends with your mom. Hal goes to Carol's office to check on her, and I don't know if it's because they're married in real life, but I really like their chemistry here.
Hal? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, Hal!
How did you know it was me?
What do you mean? I've known you my whole life. I've seen you naked. You don't think I would recognize you because I can't see your cheekbones? What is this? Why is your skin green? Why are you glowing? What the hell is with that mask?
Came with the outfit. Cool, huh?
Hal tells Carol about him being a Green Lantern, and she's like, that's actually pretty important. I don't think you should quit. But Hector is sneaking up with an evil plan. But Amanda Waller takes him back to the lab where he did all the tests on Ivan Sir. There, Hector gets drugged and restrained. But not for too long, because Hector just kind of Jamiroquai's up. Hector starts taking out all the people in the lab when, boom, Hal shows up to save the day. Now, how did Hal know what was going on? Does it matter? Did you see how cool that entrance was? Fucking rad, man. Hal and Hector duke it out for a minute, but then Hector gets the upper hand and knocks Hal down. Then Hector just kind of walks over and flops to the ground. Okay. But Hector absorbs Hal's memories, but when Hal fights back, it signals Parallax over to Earth. Again, this design's just fucking stupid. It just kind of looks like something you'd see out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. Except not as fun, or memorable, or better designed. Hal returns to Oa to give a speech to the Guardians about why it's important not to give in to fear.
Where we say on Earth, we say, I'm only human. We say it because we're vulnerable. We say it because we know we're afraid. It doesn't mean we're weak. Help me save my planet. Don't give in to fear. Fight it. Fight it with me.
When 12-year-old me saw this, he was like, fuck yeah! And you know what? 15 years later, I gotta say, Hal goes back to Earth when Hector has Carol in danger. How did Hector get Carol? I genuinely don't know. A lot of times in movies, when there's a damsel in distress scene, usually like a scene or two before that, they have a scene where the villain captures the love interest. But here, he just has her. How? Whatever, the movie's almost over. So basically, Hector's like, give me the ring. And Hal's like, okay. Psych! Then randomly Parallax shows up, and to add insult to injury, he kills Hector in a very horrific way. Still not as bad as what the Riddler did to him. Hal and Carol quickly fly out of there, but Parallax starts attacking the city, and holy shit. You think a lot of people died in Man of Steel? Look how instantly people die here. Although, having it happen instantly might be a little bit better than wondering if Zod is going to throw an oil tanker at you while fighting Superman. I do love Man of Steel though, but that's a video for maybe another time. Anyway, Parallax targets this one person, which I think is fucking hilarious. I'm a giant cloud monster. I could destroy hundreds of lives in a matter of seconds. But fuck you specifically. The Hal swoops in and catapults the attack right back at Parallax. From there, Hal brings Parallax into space. I got it. He looks like the monsters from Scooby-Doo. From there, Hal punches Parallax into the sun. The other Lanterns swoop in to say, not bad, kid, not bad. Hell, even Sinestro's like, you're alright. Anyway, I'm the bad guy now. Nyah! Hal makes out with Carol and flies off into the sky. And that was Green Lantern. Overall, what did I think about it? I don't think it's that bad. Things I didn't like about the movie were I specifically think the villain is pretty awful. I would have liked more scenes on Oa and space in general. And I almost feel like the pacing of this movie is too fast. I remember this movie being a lot longer from when I was a kid, but I think that's just because there's a billion scenes in this movie. They just go by like that. Things I did like about the movie are, I genuinely think Reynolds was a great Hal Jordan. Does he kind of play it the same way he does his character in The Proposal? Sure. But have you seen The Proposal? Proposal's a really good movie, man. I love that film. The scenes on Oa, I feel, are so incredible. It really does feel like a Green Lantern comic come to life. I also think that the action is pretty good. The movie's directed by Martin Campbell. He's the same guy who directed Casino Royale, which, if you ask me, is one of the best action films ever made. And by no means is the action in this movie on par with the action in Casino Royale, but it is fun nonetheless. Anyway, the whole basis of this video is to see if Green Lantern was really that bad. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, no, it's not that bad. It's not an upper echelon comic book movie. It to me is like on the same par as the first Ant-Man movie. And that's a pretty fun movie too. And I genuinely believe that if this movie had focused a little bit more on space, had a much better villain, maybe Atrocitus, I think general audiences and critics would have enjoyed this movie more. And who knows, maybe we'd be on Green Lantern 6 by now. But anyway guys, those are my thoughts on Green Lantern. What do you think about the Green Lantern movie? What are some other movies that are generally considered pretty bad that you think deserve a second look? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.